So very briefly, yeah, again, it's a pleasure to meet you all again here, although online. And it is my pleasure now to introduce this new seminar, this training, in fact, and this opening seminar on the UC Digital Education as a Driver for Internationalization. Is our seminar in the 4.4. So we are moving very fast. Really, we have done a lot of things during this first year. And you will be with us, with UNED again, in this course between the 20th of April. So today we started this new training and until May 11th. So we have seen a lot of things all around all our seminars. And in this one, we want to go on to, or to focus on this issue of internationalization, but not just, but how digital education is promoting everywhere and is enhancing internationalization in our universities, and how this is done in one university such as ours, which is, I mean, a distance education university. So how do we work with internationalization to promote also inclusive education? Although you are going to be introduced in depth in the training, just a very brief explanation of the expected learning outcomes by the end of this training, and they are very much related to understanding how digital and distance education can enhance the main issue now in higher education of internationalization, how to apply internationalization strategies in online and blended learning contexts, which are the ones that we are involved in at UNED, and then how design or review your own action plans. I know you all have a lot of things around internationalization and a great experience, but we are going to be focused, as I say, in how to enhance this with digital education. So who is responsible for this training in UNED will be the Vice Rectorate for Internationalization and Multilingualism, but very specific. We have today Patricia Rodriguez Saed. She's the head of the Internationalization and Centers Abroad Department at this Vice Rectorate for Internationalization. She's going to be here with us today to present all the seminar. And all over the seminar, you are going to meet our OTIC in Spanish. It's the Technical Office for Internationalization and Cooperation, and all the team. This team has different areas, such as the international agreements areas with Mónica Sarabia. With Encarna Valero, you will be focused on international mobility. And we have also the area of international projects with Nieves Marquez, Maria Sarabia, and Isabel VALMORISCO. So all of them will be with you during this seminar. And well, I want to just to say to finish that it's not the first time you have met part of the team, because when you were here with us in the study tour, you well could meet some of our OTIC office during these days, and they stay with us. So also I want to say that Maca, she's in the coordinator of the Internationalization and Public Affairs Office at Tel Aviv State University. She's the co-lead of this work package, and she has been very helpful in this way to go ahead with the preparation of the training. But today also we have Irma and Russo, and again I want to thank well, the three of them for supporting us and for being here during this first opening session. So I hope you will enjoy and find fruitful this next week we are going to spend together, and welcome again. I'm going to give the floor to Patricia. So Patricia, we cannot hear you.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so thank you, Angeles. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this training on using distance education as a driver for internationalization. As Angeles said, my name is Patricia Rodriguez, and I am the head of the Internationalization and Centers Abroad area at UNED, a Spanish National University for Distance Education. And it's my pleasure to open this session with you as part of the PRODIGE training program. Before we dive deep into all the information, just a quick announcement about the day. So today's session is organized into 3 blocks. First block will focus on the welcome and the training overview. The second block will present the different modules, the timeline, and the deliverables. And the third block will address the distance education and internationalization in Georgia, which is explicitly identified in the notes for this opening slide. And the third block will also...
Patricia, sorry, is it being recorded, Jean-Baptiste?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
And in the third block, I hope we will be able to also count on the participation of some colleagues from Georgia. Not sure, but hopefully they will be able to join us and provide some valuable context for this training and to help us situate our discussion within the Georgian higher education landscape. This is fully aligned with the session agenda, which includes a review on how national and institutional policies and strategies in Georgia connect distance education with internationalization efforts. So in this opening part, our aim is not only to introduce the course, but also to make clear how today's session is structured and why each part of the training matters. We will begin by setting the scene, then we will move to the practical pathway of the training, and finally we will connect all of this to the Georgian context so that the course starts from a shared and well-grounded understanding of the realities in which all of us work. I'm gonna share the presentation because I think you will follow it more easily. So let's see if this works. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, I would like to explain, I speak in plural because all my team is with me on this. So why this training and why now? First of all, because universities are expected to become more international, more inclusive, resilient, and digitally capable. Also because distance education matters because it expands how institutions connect learners, teachers, and partners across borders. It is not just a technical solution. It is a strategic way to widen participation and sustain international engagement. So the key issue is how distance education can support the broader purposes of internalization in meaningful ways. In the case of distance education, we can say that it transforms how institutions connect learners, teachers, and partners all across geographies. Its value, therefore, it lies not only in replacing traditional models, but in expanding what is possible. What does, therefore, distance education allow us? It allows a wider participation. It reaches learners and partners who cannot access mobility-based programs due to many reasons, like cost, geography, or other circumstances. It also supports long-term international collaboration beyond short-term exchange programs. And thirdly, it connects institutional internationalization goals with everyday academic and administrative practice. Why this approach is strategically? Well, internalization nowadays, at least, is far more than student and staff mobility. It's true that when internalization began, it was only mobility, or where we were thinking about it, it was mobility. Now it's much more than mobility. So it is embedding global and intercultural dimensions into the institution's core academic functions, like teaching, research, and community engagement. Three conditions for this success. One of them is the intentional design, so pedagogy and content built for meaningful cross-border interaction. The second condition for success would be institutional support, like leadership, infrastructure, and staff capacity aligned. And the third one is strategic coherence, so distance education embedded in and not added into institutional priorities. Technology, it's very important, but alone is not enough. Really meaningful internationalization requires a quality in the interaction, thoughtful implementation, and a very clear institutional purpose. The training that you are going to begin in the following days follows a deliberate progression, which goes from conceptual foundations to practical instruments, and finally to an institutional action. So each module builds on the previous one. The module one, it's about the foundations. How distance education as a driver of internationalization and its relevance for institutional development. Module 2 would be about practical tools, all about virtual and blended mobility, internationalization at home, and key institutional resources and strategies. And third module, we will go from the concept to the action. So it's a structured institutional reflection leading to a draft action plan grounded in the Georgian context. The aim of all this training is not to have a totally finished plan, but a rigorous and shared institutional reflection. One that hopefully will translate in learning all this into realistic next steps in all of your institutions. We will be explaining how distance education expands internationalization, enabling internationalization at home, virtual mobility, and access to global learners. Secondly, we will apply all these key instruments, I was speaking about them, of internationalization to distance blended education, fostering cross-border collaboration and intercultural learning. And thirdly, the design. So you will be designing an institutional or program level action plan after you have learned all the previous contents that leverages distance education to strengthen international profile, partnerships, and talent attraction. The total duration of this training is of 14 hours, so it's a 2-week blended program with 2 live sessions. Today is the first one. We will have the second and last one, 11 May. A pre-training that you have already done with an online questionnaire. And you will also be following some async modules that you will be doing on your own pace, where you will be really diving into all these internalization tools that I've mentioned. All this content will be hosted on PRODIGE Google Classroom. You will have access to materials, to join the 2 live sessions, and to submit all the assignments through the platform. You have also annotated bibliographic references to support each of the modules. And some key features, you will have a dedicated discussion forum for interaction between all of you, all of us. You will also have some practical tasks, a resolution of questions and clarifications through the platform's forum, and a progressive development of a draft action plan. So let's go more into today's session. Once we've done this overview of the structure of the training, we will be explaining more all the asynchronous modules you will have, all the overall timeline, the key deliveries, all the reflection tasks, institutional diagnosis, and the draft action plan. For Georgia Higher Internationalization reflection, we have gathered all the information we received of this questionnaire you've done, all the initial impressions on how distance education can support the internationalization of Georgian universities, and briefly review relevant national and institutional policies using all these responses you've given us. So first of all, for the asynchronous modules overview, you have 9 hours that, of course, you can do on your own pace. We totally understand we all have a lot of work to do, so you can do it whenever you can, whenever you want. Module 1, it's about distance education as a driver of internationalization. This is a module of 2 hours of duration. Module 2 is about making distance education global. You will be studying here all the practical tools for internationalization. This is 3 hours and a half module. And the third module, it's the module that we will be going from the ideas to the action. So it's about creating and planning for internationalization through distance education. This is the same duration as module 2, so 3 hours and a half. And you will progressively build toward a complete draft of the institutional action plan, which is submitted before live session 2, because the idea is to put all together in this second and last live session. For the first asynchronous module, 2 hours duration, which is the scope and the benefits we think about. So we would like that you understand distance education role and potential for institutional internationalization for the university, for students, academics, and staff. We will have as case study our university, UNED, and we will share how a leading distance university integrates internationalization into its strategy, programs, and services. And finally, we will identify the benefits and all the added value of distance education for internationalization in their own institution. So this is a part of more of critical reflection of all the information you've received before in this module. Module 2, it's about the tools. So first of all about mobility, virtual mobility and blended. We will be studying all the diverse mobility formats that broaden international experiences for students and staff. Secondly, another tool, internationalization at home, embedding international and intercultural dimensions directly into distance education programs. And the third one, all the tools to integrate distance education into institutional internationalization strategies and map existing resources and gaps. The review of the tools presented and consider they would be all combined to support how internationalization through distance education can play a key role part on all of our institutions. The third and last module is the action plan. So the idea is that all of you will draft a realistic institutional action plan to strengthen distance education role in internationalization and to use internationalization to enhance distance education quality and impact. All these draft action plans and reflection tasks, they have to be submitted by Google Classroom, all of this by 8th May. Therefore, before the live session 2, because as I was saying, the idea is to share all these in session 2. The draft action plan is not expected to be a fully developed plan. The purpose of building this plan is to open a conversation and to create a space to begin shaping potential institutional plans while sharing reflections on the challenges encountered in this preparation, which will be equally valuable to discuss during the live session on 11 May. And hopefully you will be able to apply this action plan or part of it at least at your institution. The second and last live session, therefore, will be 11 May. This will be a brief review of all the key concepts and tools from the asynchronous modules. Of course, we can share here any comments and doubts and everything you want, even if you already have the way of doing it on the classroom, that we can also share in this space. We will have 5-8 minutes more or less institutional pitches highlighting all the opportunities, the barriers, all the lessons learned, and of course, all the remaining challenges for all of us. And we'll have a plenary discussion. The idea is to jointly identify any gaps, priorities, and to support the needs for using distance education to advance internationalization in Georgia higher education. The key takeaways, all of this will be distance education is a powerful lever for expanding institutional internationalization beyond physical borders. Every task connects directly to participants' own institutional realities in Georgia higher education. So we've been thinking about this training not only learning concepts and theory, which is of course needed, but to have a really practical and contextualized focus. And you will finally leave a draft institutional action plan ready, hopefully, to implement, or if not possible, at least that you have all this information and tools and plan action to develop further once it's possible in your institutions. So this would be the overview of the training. I don't know if you have any questions, you want to do any comments before we go into the survey results. Just hands up, and I will give you space for any doubts or comments. If not, I can continue with the results. Okay. So we sent you a questionnaire to have some feedback from you, and we had responses from 16 participants across 10 institutions. 16 out of 24 enrolled total participants, and 10 institutions. 80% of all of you work already in internationalization, currently or previously. 55% of all of you are decision makers, so you are in my same position, like office heads or senior roles in internationalization. And we didn't expect, to be honest, this percentage of decision makers, and it's very interesting because hopefully you will have the tools and the action plan developed once you finish the training, and I think this is going to be very positive for you and your institutions. So all the participants hold these leadership roles, not only in international relations, but also in quality assurance and project coordination. You have between 3 to 12 years of professional experience. For the part of internationalization strategies, 100% of you have already a strategy. So all institutions have reported to have a consolidated internationalization plan. Often, this plan is integrated into the overall institutional strategy. Most of you began internationalization around 2012-13, with the strategy updates in 2017-20 and recent policy reviews. And several of the institutions reference active strategic plans extending to 2030 with specific international objectives. We have also identified some key strengths we'd like to share. First of all, in relation to international partnerships, a lot of you have strong networks, cooperation agreements, and a high number of international partners. Most of you have English medium programs with a growing offer in English and other languages, attracting international students. All of you reach European standards, so you have the integration of Bologna process, the Magna Carta, and you have dedicated offices for Horizon Europe, internationalization, quality, and e-learning. Which are the tools and activities that we have detected you all have in use? First of all, physical mobility. So all of you have Erasmus Plus and other programs for students, academic and administrative staff. This is the most impactful tool cited in the questionnaire. You also have bilateral agreements. So you have networks, partnerships, joint master's program, and international scientific conferences. You participate in international projects, so Erasmus Plus projects, capacity building, also capacity building in the field of vocational education and training, Horizon Europe, also COST projects, so European Cooperation in Science and Technology, and non-European projects. All of them are widely used among your institutions. And you also have some of you virtual activities like MOOCs, online seminars, COIS, international summer schools, and digital education projects. The areas that we have perceived as excellent areas would be international mobility. So you are visible in rankings, employability, and intercultural skills. You also have an impact on curriculum modernization and research according to European projects. You have important global networks, so joint programs and scientific cooperation and external visibility. And you are able to attract international students because a growing offer of English taught courses. All of the institutions also highlight the creation of multicultural and multilingual environments and the development of internal capacities in quality assurance, career services, and innovation, all driven by accumulating international experience. The gap that we have identified is with virtual tools, because it seems like they are used, but as occasional instruments. Mainly speaking about MOOCs, COIS, and blended mobility, but they are not the strategic pillar of internationalization. So this training program is going to address directly this gap, showing you how distance education can multiply international impact and visibility beyond traditional physical mobility. And hopefully, you will be able to integrate this as part of your strategy and not as an occasional instrument. Some common challenges across the institutions will be, the first one, systemized distance education. Secondly, embed agreements into structure. And thirdly, to scale virtual and blended impact. Because while all institutions show a strong commitment to internationalization, the shift from activity-based to strategy-driven use of distance education remains the shared frontier. And how the training fits with all this, you will work in active internationalization strategies. The course deepens how distance education can reinforce all those strategies. As we have already mentioned, the format and methodology will be of 14 hours. This will be done over 2 weeks with blended synchronous sessions and asynchronous work, all adapted, of course, to professionals. We understand you have tons of work. You will be finally designing these action plans for internationalization via distance education, answering directly to institutional priorities around global standards alignment. With all of this with an applied approach. So it's all of context-based reflection, drawing on participants' profiles and experience, supported by national experts, an interactive forum for questions and clarifications, and a highly practical annotated readings. And to finish my presentation, sharing some key messages for this opening session. The first one will be that the course builds on participants' strong mobility and projects expertise to unlock distance education as a new internationalization driver. Secondly, virtual mobility, internationalization at home, and institutional strategies applied directly to participants on universities. Thirdly, the goal is to reinforce existing strategies with distance education opportunities, improving teaching quality and global reach. And finally, all this grounded in a consolidated distance university experience and current Georgian policy analysis. All of this directly applicable to your institutional reality. So thank you very much for paying attention to all this information.